We are now beginning to mark our patterns. There are markings on the paper pattern and you need to transfer those to your fabric. So if you have notches, like this double notch, it was cut with the fabric so that when I take this paper off, I can see where that double notch is going to be. So then I can match that double notch to the part where it's supposed to be matched. Here's a single notch. That one I cut out of into the fabric so that I have a single notch. Now sometimes you have other things. You have to take a look at each pattern piece to see what kind of markings there are. There is a square here marking for A and B. This marking here is only for A, so depending on which view you are using. So let's say we're using medium A. And so here is the square. And I have my thread that is white because I want to see it. I'm going to make a tailor's tack. And the way you make a tailor's tack is you go in on one corner, and then I'm going to come out of the other corner of that square. And then I am going to pull, but I'm going to leave a long tail, about 5 inches long. And then I'm going to go in the other direction, so I'm making like an X, coming across from the other two corners diagonally. And then I'm going to pull that so I'm going to leave a loop that is about the same length as my other tail that I left. Okay, now I'm going to cut. Now if this was a circle, instead of a square, you just do the same thing where you do a little diagonal X. I'm going to cut that loop, and then I'm going to cut this other, so I'm going to have 4. This is called a tailor's tack. I'm making mine pretty long. So now I have these 4 pairs of thread going through that. When I take off my paper, you'll see that my thread is there in the fabric. But I want this square to transfer to both fabrics. So in order to do that, let's take this paper off so you can see this. I'm going to pull this apart about halfway. I want to leave some of that tail on the top. And then I'm going to cut it so that I've got a tailor's tack on the bottom piece, and on the top piece you've got a tailor's tack that is just thread. You don't have that X, which is why I left it pretty long. Okay, so that is showing me where that square is. Okay, so this on the bottom, I've got the same tack. So this is great to use for fabric like this, which is wool, which is a high quality fabric. You don't want to put marker on it. You don't want to mess it up by using a pen or something like that. So you use a thread, and then that easily comes out after you are done finding that spot when you're putting your garment together.